Hi, this is basically a section-wise strategy for day 2 and day 3 for SNAP exam. So based on the experience of day 1, is basically how can you plan a paper for day 2 and day 3. So before we start, let's look at the type of questions that have come in the first slot. I mean, if you look at verbal, there's parts of speech, spotting the error, para-jumbles, idiom and phrases, grammar, match the column, fill in the blanks. So from this, para-jumbles could take some time. So my suggestion is keep the para-jumbles for round 2 is what I say. The rest you should be able to do unless you want to keep match the column for the second round, but otherwise you should be able to solve the remaining in some time. So that means ideally the first round should be around 12 to 13 questions unless you don't know anything. To 12 to 13 questions first round, and then maybe if you have time come to second round where you solve the remaining 2 to 3 questions which are there for verbal section. That's how you plan the verbal. I'll come up with the overall plan in the later part, but this is right now the section wise strategy. Second, then once you finish and figure, once you finish, then logic. Logic, verbal reasoning and 11 questions. I mean, you could solve it. It was not difficult. Unless you find syllogism difficult, you could keep it for round 2. But otherwise, the questions were not really difficult. Even syllogisms are comparatively easy. The verbal reasonings are fine, could have been solved. You have to read and understand the question, mark the answer. There was non-verbal reasoning where series, puzzle arrangement, puzzle for family tree, clocks, calendars, coding, and so on. Binary logic. From that, puzzles could be time consuming if you are not comfortable because it's a paragraph, you have to arrange it, etc. If you're comfortable, you can solve. Please practice clocks and calendars before you go for the next slot. Again, some of the verbal reasoning, if you find it tough, fine. So again, you can break it up into 2 rounds. Maybe first round you can solve around 15 questions and maybe come back in the second round and solve maybe 7 to 8 questions more, depending on what you can break it up based on your comfortable. Some people are comfortable with verbal reasoning, so they will solve that in the first round. Some people feel that no series is a little tough, I'll solve in the second round. Whichever. So you can break it up into first round, second round. First round will be those questions which you can solve quickly, and second round will be something which will solve, maybe which will take time to solve. And something which you don't understand, you can leave it. So something around that. Quant was a little bit on the lengthier side and tougher side. You had questions on arithmetic, modern math, geometry, numbers, algebra. Arithmetic was fine, but yes, you can look at which type of question was lengthy. I can't break it up into topic by saying that this topic was lengthy and this topic was not lengthy. Overall, both were this one. Some arithmetic questions are lengthy, some geometry questions are lengthy. So look at which topic you find the question lengthy or not comfortable. You can keep it for later and solve the remaining for first round. So I'm looking at the logic. I mean, I would say one way of trying to solve is maybe try to spend logic first round 20 minutes where you solve around 15 questions. Whatever you take can solve fast. Don't try to solve all logic questions because then that will consume a lot of time. But see if you can, the easier logic questions, you can solve 15 questions in 20 minutes. Then come to quant, spend 12 minutes, maybe solve 8 questions, the easier 8 questions among the lot, which is there. Then come to verbal. I kept verbal later. Normally I used to keep verbal first, but you can keep verbal later because if you're tired from logic and quant, you can come to verbal. This is specifically for people who are strong in verbal. They can keep the verbal later because when they're tired, they can still solve the verbal part. But solving logic and quant when they're tired is a little difficult. Also, verbal when you solve later, you tend to be faster than when you solve first. But you can take a call. You can distribute the time based on how you can, or sequence based on how you're comfortable with it. Here, basically, you can 7 minutes, you can solve 13 questions which are there. Then come to logic round 2. In this case, you'll solve 15 minutes, you'll solve 8 questions. Here, maybe a little longer questions, some time consuming questions which you can take. And last 6 minutes, maybe 3 questions. So maybe solve 44 questions approximately in the overall time limit. You can push to more questions based on your comfort level and speed. I've just given you a rough estimate as to how to go about it. My suggestion is break up into round 1 and round 2. Round 1, all the easy questions to give you comfort level. Round 2, maybe the lengthier and tougher questions. You can vary the time based on your comfort level, but suggestion is to break it up into round. Try to complete the round 1 as far as possible around 40 minutes, 39 to 40 minutes. So you have time to come to round 2 and solve whatever questions you can. I hope this strategy is clear. We'll come up with videos that will help you. Right? All the best for your exam.